We're with Secretgarden. Just listen to another track from their latest album. You collaborate with a lot of other artists, right? How do you find them? Do they come to you?
Well, in that instance, with the last song, The Dream, we heard Moya Brennan,
Right.
the Irish singer with Clannad. And she was actually just a case in point. She was somebody that we've wanted to work with for a long time, but our paths never kind of crossed. And also we didn't feel we had the right song for her. So it's really back down to, it's not just deciding we want to work with somebody, it's really after Rolf has written a melody, and then sometimes the music dictates where it's going to go. And in that case, that melody became more and more, it sounded more and more of a vocal song rather than something that I as a violinist was going to bring the best out of it. And then the more we listened to it, we thought, oh, hang on, this sounds like an Irish voice. Who's the person that's good? And then it's like, yes, Moya. And we sent her the track, and she wanted to work on it. So that's kind of really how it evolves. It's and it's always it's a nice way to do it. I mean, obviously, you hope when you ask somebody to join us that they'll say yes, and more or less they do all the time. But it's always exciting to have new blood come in and work with us.
So do you two always see eye to eye when it comes to Secretgarden's music? No.
No, but that's good. I think you can't. I mean, we're working together for 18 years, more or less, and I think what keeps us together is a huge amount of respect for each other, and we're great friends. And so the common goal is to move this forward, to continue to be able to work together. You always have to have conflict, because otherwise we would just get very lazy. And so the conflict allows you to step back and have opinions, and to always keep evaluating the process, because basically it's Rolf and I who are deciding what's good, what's bad.
Right.
We sort of stay away from other people or record companies or other people giving us, their view. It's important that we feel good. So a lot of times, if we disagree, actually the answer is in the middle. And we've learned that over the years,
So, Rolf, do you keep a list of artists you want to work with in the future, or do you think about one as you compose?
Yeah. It's not like it's pre-planned, really. Like what Fionnuala was saying now is really true, that most of our answers, whether it's like finding an artist or even, answers to conflicts or friction, is often in the music we find. The music is able to tell us the right way. And it seems like the music is pointing in the direction of a voice or something like that. And it has been true, and it never fails. It's always the right thing to follow the music. And we are very true to that idea. It's really a strong driving force. Even when I write the music, it's almost like follow the music, and eventually you will get there. And we are very true to that concept.
How do you work together when, Fionnuala, you live in France and Rolf, you live in Norway?
It's simpler than you think, really. I mean, obviously with technology and everything now, I mean, we both have studio setups in our respective homes. So for just demoing and a quick idea test, if Rolf is writing something and just needs to just check is the right keys, the right whatever, I can actually do a demo at home, send it back to him. So that point of view, it's got easier living in separate countries. And also we found that because we have to fly to each other's homes when we decide to work together, means that we work in very tough concentrated periods, and it means that we're very, very focused.
No time to get tired of each other.
Yeah, and then and then it gives us also, after each period of work, we go back. Then I need my own time to work, rehearse. Rolf needs more time to develop the writing, and so it has always been a successful way for us to work. So for that reason, I've never moved to Norway, and it was never a question of Rolf saying, "Okay, I'm moving down to Ireland or France or wherever."
But you do things solo as well, right? You have
really,
your solo careers.
Well, not really. I mean, Secretgarden has been, a full-time commitment for the last 18 years. I mean, once or twice I've stepped out and just maybe recorded for somebody else. And I did, a few years ago, I did my own solo album. That was just a separate project that I did, was just something burning inside me for a long time, that I wanted to go back to some of the tunes that I grew up with as a child and develop them in a very different way, very different sort of format. So that was a project that I really enjoyed doing. But really, in essence, our full-time careers are working at Secret Garden.
So, Rolf, you only write for Secret Garden?
Mostly, yeah. I do some other projects, but it is more or less to keep me sane. Sometimes it's good to be working out of your own comfort zone. Do something that's where you can learn something new and to challenge yourself a little bit. So I do that a little bit, but main focus is on Secret Garden.
So even while you're living in these two different countries, you're working together on the same.
There's always a next project, and that's the album.
What sort of music do you enjoy listening to when you're not working then?
Really, for me, it depends. I mean, when I walked into the studio this morning, somebody was playing Adele earlier on. Skyfall, and you go, oh my God, there's a voice in a million. I could listen to her all day. And, all of, like anything that's current, I do get, really get great crack and enjoyment out of it. And to relax, or maybe in the evening, some chill out music, or even some of the Buddha bar mixes, or maybe some film soundtrack. It really depends on what you feel like with that glass of wine.
Goodness, you've moved away from classical.
But I think classical music is a huge part of me, and it always will be. And there are certain moments in a day that only classical music will work. Actually, a lot of times when I'm driving, if I do a long driving trip on my own, I listen to classical music a lot. But so I think music is something that you tune into for all the different moods and reasons that you need.
Sure. Yeah. What about you, Rolf?
The same, it's not like I'm listening to one type of music. I find joy in all kinds of music, all genres. It's important for me that it moves me. I need to feel some emotion when I hear music, I think that's the point for me. And it can be anything from classical, and I do listen to a lot of classical music, but it can be it can be pop music, it can be jazz, it can be anything musical. Fionnuala mentioned music that's produced to films. I think that's a great source of good music these days. There's some great film composers, and I'm certainly inspired by those. So the answer is a mix of. I'm very eclectic.
So is it Secret Garden's goal in terms of music to move people?
I think yes. I think that's a good way of describing it, because it is what it is for us, And I think if it's able in the other end to communicate and move people, I think that's the best compliment.
What are you working on for the future? What can we look forward to?
We're actually in the middle of a production of a new album that we're going back to work on it after this tour this week, and it's the idea of this next album is. This what we touched on earlier on in the interview about everybody needing that little bit of space and time out from their busy lives, and we've decided to go back to basics, just to Rolf and I's piano and violin, and it's an album that's going to be called Just the Two of Us, and it's the idea of that for an hour you can bring somebody into that one musical room and just stay in that one sort of with hopefully very soothing album and a collection of pieces. So it's an experiment for us, but it's something that we've wanted to do for some time, and we will have it finished by the end of October.
So we will look forward to that.
Hopefully.
Thank you very much for coming in, sharing your stories with us today, and best of luck with the performances tonight and tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our special guests today, Irish violinist Fionnuala Sherry and Norwegian composer and pianist Rolf Loveland of the duo Secret Garden. And with that, we're wrapping up 101.3 Main Street for this Wednesday. Thanks, as always, for being with us. Stay tuned for K-Popular with As One coming up next. I'm Anjayan. Have a happy hump day. I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock on the dot. Taking us out today is that massive hit by Secret Garden, You Raise Me Up.